So today I'm going to be doing a back to school video. I am very sorry that I just said those words. I know a lot of people go back to school in August, but some people, like me, don't go back until September. So yeah, I go back to school I think September 8th, which is like a Tuesday or something like that. But I still have like a month of freedom, except I have marching band camp, so that's not really freedom. But do you guys like my hair? I thought this was cute. I just watched a Zoella hair tutorial from it was either I think it was last fall time, but I think it's really cute. She does this hairstyle. It's kind of funky and a little bit weird, but I think it's pretty cute. So yeah, I'm just trying that out for today. Today I'm going to be doing a high school freshman advice video, also makeup tips for going into high school, simple things that might, if you've never done makeup before, it might ease you into the world of makeup. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the high school freshman advice. The first piece of advice I have for you guys who are going into 9th grade is don't be scared. No matter how scary it seems or how scared you are, I promise you that there literally is nothing to worry about. I remember last year when I was going into high school, I was so scared, so scared. I just I thought I would get lost, and I thought it would be the teachers would be mean, and I thought that I don't know, I would fail at everything, and I wouldn't have anyone to sit at lunch, and I wouldn't have any classes. I wouldn't have any classes with any of my friends, and all these thoughts were going around in my mind, and I was ah! And then I got to school the first day, and I think I got I was a little bit late to one class because I couldn't find it, but literally I just asked my older friend who's a year older than me. I'm just you know where this is? And she told me where the classroom was. And people will help you out. People aren't going to be mean to you if you ask them a question. I mean, you're a freshman, you haven't been to the school before, so why would they get mad at you for asking where something is? You obviously don't know. There's no reason to get mad at you, so there's nothing really to worry about. I mean, understand, so just try not to be worried, okay? Yeah. My second tip is, if possible, go to your freshman orientation. So normally at a lot of high schools, I think most, even elementary schools and middle schools, there's an orientation maybe a week or a couple days before school starts. And at mine last year, I got my schedule and my PE uniform, and I don't know, I got to meet some of the teachers, and then that's when everyone started comparing their schedules to see who had classes with who. And thank God I had I had 2 classes with my best friend, and yeah, so it's really good to go to your freshman orientation because you can also take your schedule and maybe even go around the school and see where all your classes are. I wasn't able to do that last year. I'm pretty sure the school was closed, or we weren't allowed to go through the school. So my first day was literally the first time I actually got to go class to class to class to class. And I actually have block scheduling, so my days are 1, 3, 5, 7, and then 2, 4, 6, 8. So there's 2 different days that alternate back and forth. So if you have a schedule like that, or a normal schedule, you could just go class by class to practice the route. And I didn't even get a locker until the end of the first day. So yeah, try to get your locker too as soon as possible. So yeah. Sorry if I'm really rambly in this video. Number 3 is to make new friends. Okay, so even if you're new or something, if you're new to a school, that's probably going to be one of your main worries. But honestly, just say hi to whoever you're sitting next to in your class, who you might sit with at lunch. Don't be afraid of not being able to make friends, because it'll happen. Within 1 or 2 months into school, you'll have maybe even a small group of friends, so it's gonna happen faster than you think. Also, going along with that, I know going out of middle school, a lot of people, including me, thought and think that we will keep the same friends all throughout high school and we'll be friends with them the rest of our lives, and it's going to be great and we're going to be best friends when we're 40, but that's not always the case. Once you get into high school, people change, and some friendships kind of break apart or like kind of fizzle out. Like, I had a group of friends last year, but then 2 months into 9th grade, I realized that we didn't really have any classes together, and we didn't really talk as much, and so we kind of just stopped texting, stopped really talking. I mean, like, one of them, I still hug her whenever I see her, and I'm like, hey, how's it going, and everything like that, but we're not as close as we used to be in 8th grade. So yeah, but what's cool about high school is you start to make all these new friends that you never knew before, and it's great because you get to meet all these new people, and even though some friendships end, others will either let new friendships. So yeah, don't be worried about making new friends. Number 4, upperclassmen. Now, I'm pretty sure that only like upperclassmen is like juniors and seniors, whereas like freshmen and sophomores like underclassmen. So I'm still kind of technically an underclassman, even though I'm older than a freshman, obviously, by like 1 year. But literally, like, most of the time, the upperclassmen won't even like acknowledge your presence. That sounds kind of mean, but like they're not gonna like hunt you down and like make fun of you and laugh at you like freshmen suck. Like that, they're not gonna do that. Like most of the time, they don't even talk to you, or they'll just like be talking to their friends, and it's not really a big deal. They're just people like you, except a few years older. It's not that. Number 5. Now, this is one that I struggle with, and like seriously, this is like a must in high school. Don't procrastinate on homework and projects and assignments, and just don't do it, okay? Because in high school, like, grades matter, and that's what like colleges are gonna look at like when you're applying and stuff like that. So like in high school, you really need to like be on your A game, especially in like junior and senior year when you're older and you're like really almost done with high school. And a lot of people say like grades don't matter in like like the younger grade, like freshman and sophomore, but like they do, like your grades do matter. So don't be that stupid person that doesn't do their homework and like gets an F on everything. That's another tip. That's like number 5 and 6. Number 5 and 6 go hand. So number 5 is don't procrastinate, and number 6 is don't be a stupid person. And what I mean by that is, seriously, I hate those people the worst. I hate those people who don't even care about any of their classes, and they just don't do any of the work. That seriously annoys the heck out of me, because it's like, do you think you're cool not doing your work? Like, you have to do your homework, because then you're going to get better grades, and then, because most schools will only want you if you have pretty good grades. I get A's and B's, so that's pretty good. I want to actually get more A's this year. But, like, you can't just go through high school just like, I did one assignment, I'm not going to do those because I'm too cool for that. Don't do that. Like, seriously, just do your work. Like, stop being stupid, please. Thank you. Gosh, I'm acting so weird in this video. I'm so sorry. And my last tip, number 7, is don't get caught up with relationships. Now, a lot of girls and some guys want a boyfriend or a girlfriend in high school, but, like, seriously, if you want one that bad, I would stop trying as hard, because it's probably not gonna happen if you're, like, trying everything you can to get a boyfriend. Like, it'll happen when it happens, like, and most of the time, high school relationships last, like, maybe a week. They're, like, pretty stupid. So, yeah, don't get caught up with relationships, because then your grades are probably going to get bad, and you're not going to be hanging out with your friends as much, and you're going to be all caught up with probably this, like, older dude who's, like, now taking over your life, and you're only, like, 14, and, like, I don't know, he's pressuring you to do things, and that just leads into a whole other bunch of issues. So yeah, just don't get caught up in relationships. Stay focused on your friends and your sports, extracurricular activities, and homework. And And if you do have a boyfriend or girlfriend, just please don't make it your whole entire life. So yeah, those are my tips and advice for incoming freshmen and anyone who's new to a school, high school, whatever. So now I'm going to show you guys a very simple, easy makeup look that's great for anybody who is new to makeup or wants to just look fresh and clean and not too much for high school. So yeah, let's get started. Okay guys, so I don't use primer all the time, but if you want it to last like all day, it's probably a good idea. So I'm just taking this little sample I have of the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, and I'm just going to be putting that on my face. Once you have your primer on, next I'm going to do foundation. So I'm going to be taking the True Blend CoverGirl Liquid Makeup in L5, I think, or something. So 1.5, L5, whatever it is. And I'm just going to be taking a sponge, a damp sponge, and just putting that on my face. If you have really, skin with not a lot of acne and you don't have, pimples and stuff like that or any redness, I have pretty good skin. I just like to put foundation on as a kind of base for the rest of my makeup, but you totally don't have to if you don't want to. You can totally skip this step. Now that I have put on my foundation, I'm going to take my CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous Concealer in the shade Light Medium, and I'm going to under my eyes just to cover up any dark circles, because a lot of people in high school, including me sometimes, either stay up just because they want to or have a project or something that you had to finish that you procrastinated on. So yeah, I'm just going to be covering up any dark circles. You can also do this if you have any pimples or redness or anything you want to correct with some concealer. Again, you can skip this step too if you really don't have anything that you want to cover up. Once I do my concealer and foundation, I like to finish it off with a powder just to set everything. Yeah, also another tip with all this face makeup stuff, try to put as little as possible, or as little, don't overdo on the foundation because it can start to look cakey, and that's not cute. So yeah, I'm gonna just powder my face real quick. Okay, so next, before I do any eyeshadow or anything on my eyes, I'm going to take an eye primer. Please do not do what I did when I started to use makeup in middle school. I used to put on my eyeshadow and not have any eye primer on my eyes. You know how much of a bad idea that is? That is a really bad idea. If you want your eyeshadow to stay on for more than 2 minutes, you should probably put an eye primer on. Just one I got in my Ipsy bag. This is Mika, or M-I-C-A Beauty Cosmetics, and it's just an eye primer. But you can get really cheap ones at Target, like the e.l.f. one from e.l.f. Cosmetics. That one's at $1, and it's not the best primer in the whole entire world. But it works, and it's only $1, so yeah. Eye primer is a good idea. Yay! So here's the fun part. So after we have primed our eyes, it's time for the eyeshadow. I am using my Naked palette, of course, which, if you don't know, which everybody knows, it just has a lot of great go-to neutrals in it. This is literally an oldie but a goodie. It's amazing. As I've said a million times before, if you guys have watched any of my other videos, I talk about this a lot. If you don't want to go out and spend $50 on an eyeshadow, you could get little palettes from NYX and things like that. This one is probably $10 or something, but it's this big. This is a baked eyeshadow set from e.l.f., which has a lot of neutrals. Just any of these little palettes. I would stick to neutrals at first because those are the colors that you're gonna be using more than crazy neon colors. You're probably not gonna get much use out of those. So I am going to be using my Naked palette, as I said, and As you can see, I love this color. I'm going to go in with Sin on my lid, which is this part of your eye. If you don't know, like your eyelid, I'm going to take Sin, which is just the sparkly nude color. Also, if you're not allowed to wear makeup, I would probably skip the eyeshadow unless you're doing matte, which is basically eyeshadow that doesn't have any shimmer or anything like that. Because if you're trying to wear makeup and make it look like you're not wearing makeup, eyeshadow is probably going to give that away. So this is like a bunch of these steps in this video are completely optional, and you can make it more or less depending on your like personal preference. So yeah, I'm just going to take Sin and put it on my eyelid. So there is that color on my lid. If I'm far away, you can barely tell that I'm wearing it, but it just adds like a little bit of sparkle that I think is really pretty, and it doesn't really cover up any of your features. It just kind of like enhances your eyes, and I think this eye look will look good on anybody. Also, I'm just going to be taking the color Naked, which is just this light brown matte color that's very natural, and I'm not going to put a lot. I'm just going to put a tiny bit in the crease of my eye, and I'm just going to put it and use a windshield wiper motion just to blend it in and make it look natural, and I'm going to make sure that there's no harsh lines so it looks as natural as possible. Okay, so here is the finished eyeshadow. It's very simple. You can totally just leave it like that, but I'm going to be doing a little bit of eyeliner. If your school doesn't allow makeup or your parents don't let you wear makeup, you might want to just kind of stick with this, just to kind of ease them into the idea of you wearing makeup and just show them that you can wear makeup and still look completely natural. I would normally take a black liquid liner and do a line across my upper lashes, but since most people who are starting makeup, this might be a little bit too intense and advanced for you, so I'm gonna take a very dark brown eyeshadow with a small brush and just do a teensy tiny line. And yeah, I'll be back and I'll show you what I mean. Showing you guys up close how much more definition just a thin brown line will add if you're not allowed to, oh sorry about the light, if you're not allowed to wear makeup or you think this is too dramatic for you, totally skip this step, that's fine. Now we are on to mascara. Before I put mascara on, I'm going to take my eyelash curler. If you don't have one, that's totally fine, or if you have just naturally super long lashes, you're probably good, but I'm just gonna curl mine real. Okay, so I'm going to be using my Lorac Pro mascara. This is in the color black. If you don't want anyone to know you're wearing mascara, you can always just go for clear, which I actually used to do my eyebrows, but you could totally do clear or brown. Brown is a lot less harsh than black, but I only have black. So yeah, I'm just gonna use that, and I wouldn't put it on the bottom, especially if you have like PE or like sports or stuff, because it has a lot more of a chance to like smudge and stuff like that. So I'm only just gonna put a little bit on my top lashes. Finished eye look. It's very simple and just fresh and just very nice looking, and it's not too much, and it's great, and it's great for every day. Next, I'm going to do my eyebrows. Now, if you have really no need to fill them in, if you have thin eyebrows, you can totally do what I'm about to do and just fill them in with either a pencil or any matching eyeshadow. Now, I wouldn't try not to go too dark, and if you think it's a little bit too dark, you can always just brush it out with an eye brush. I have this kind of little thing that I use. But as far as plucking your eyebrows goes, I have never done anything to my eyebrows. These are like my natural eyebrows. So unless you know what you're doing and you have your mom doing it or some professional, please don't touch your eyebrows, because it can totally, like, if you touch your eyebrows and you end up messing it up, your face will never be the same again. Or your eyebrows anyway. So I'm just going to take the same color I put in my crease, which is Naked, because it actually matches my eyebrows and my hair color like really well. So I'm going to just lightly fill in my eyebrows. So there are my eyebrows filled in. I just think they look a lot more, just a little bit bolder, and they just frame my face nicely. I feel like if you do your eyebrows, it just takes your like makeup to a whole new level, because it just looks like awesome if you do your eyebrows. Just very lightly, even with like, just lightly filling them in is gonna look awesome. Even just filling out your eyebrows a little bit can make a huge difference in how your face or your makeup look turns out. So now that I am done with my eyes, I'm going to use my Naked Flushed palette in the shade Streak. It just looks like this. These are great, even though they're a little bit more expensive and on the higher end side. This is from Urban Decay, by the way. I think I already said that. I'm not sure. But it has blush, highlight, and bronzer in one. So it's really great. And this comes in a bunch of different colors. So like darker bronzer, different color blush, different color highlight, stuff like that. Kind of like peachy corally, and then very pretty light highlight, and then a very light bronzer, which is good for me because I have very pale skin. So I wouldn't go overboard on things like this. I'm just going to take a teensy bit of blush and then just apply it to my cheeks just to add a little bit of blush and a little bit of color, just so I don't look too pale and washed out. Just like that. Super simple. Next, now that I'm done with basically everything, I'm going to do lips now. I usually wear anything on my lips, so I'm just going to take a chapstick. This is the Chapstick Hydration Lock. It's double-ended. It has a day side and a night side. And I'm just going to take the day side, which kind of smells vanilla, and I'm just going to put that on my lips, because honestly, thinking back to last year, I never wore anything on my lips, and if I did, it was just some chapstick. Because I find if I wear anything, it always wears off, and then I just don't feel like reapplying it, and it's just kind of useless. So yeah, I think we are done. Here is the finished makeup look. I actually think it's adorable. It's almost exactly the same as what I would normally do. Other than the eyeshadow and the eyeliner, like I would probably add more, like, for me personally, but like this is like really, really good for everyday wear. Anyone can do this. It's super simple. It's really hard to mess up something simple like this, and it's really just nice looking. It's nice if you want to convince your parents to let you wear makeup. It's not gonna, I don't think this would scare them off or anything like that. It's super natural, and that's why I love it for school. And it's just easy if you wake up late and you just throw some of these things on. You can totally skip some of the steps if you don't need like foundation or something. It's super simple. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my tips and my advice and makeup and freshman stuff. Don't be nervous. Have fun in high school. And even though we all don't want to go back to school, we kind of can't avoid it. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great year, whether you are starting in August or September, or if you already started. Let me know how your first day went, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. Bye guys!